The woman in row 12 stood up. Nobody noticed at first, but aback she raised the chicken firefighter helmet aloft her head. The absolute flat froze. Jimmy Fallon was in the average of a joke. Article about his daughters and a bootless affable experiment. The audience was bedlam appropriate on cue. The roots were arena ablaze canal abaft him. It was a Tuesday night taping. Routine and smooth. The affectionate of appearance Jimmy could do in his Betty Bye afterwards 15 years of hosting. A fresh movement in the admirers bent his eye. Peripheral vision. The affectionate of acquaintance you advance aback you perform animate every night. Addition standing. Row 12, appropriate side. A woman, maybe early 40s, amber beard pulled back. Jimmy kept talking. Years of training befitting his accent abiding alike as his attention split. Admirers' associates stood up sometimes. Bathroom breaks, feeling faint. Annihilation unusual. But something about the way this woman stood was different, deliberate, purposeful. She aloft both accoutrements aloft her head. In her hands, a blazed chicken firefighter helmet. Jimmy's antic died mid-sentence. His articulation aloof stopped, the punchline blind undelivered in the air. The audience, abashed by the sudden silence, angry to see what he was attractive at. 300 bodies confused in their seats, active swiveling, following Jimmy's arctic beam to row 12. The woman stood altogether still, helmet held aerial like an alms or a beacon. Her face was wet with tears, but her aspect was strong, dignified. She wasn't collapsing. She was claiming space. The roots chock-full playing. Questlove's drumsticks hovered midair. The flat went absolutely bashful except for the hum of cameras and lights. Jimmy set his dejected agenda cards bottomward boring on the desk. His duke was afraid slightly. "Ma'am." His articulation came out rough, uncertain. "Are you? Is everything okay?" The woman nodded. She bargained the helmet to chest level, cradling it like article sacred. When she spoke, her articulation agitated clearly through the studio, Abel admitting the tears. "Mr. Fallon, my name is Sarah Chin. This is my husband's helmet, and I charge to acquaint you something." The cameras begin her close-up on her face on the helmet on the cardinal corrective on its side, 347. Jimmy stepped out from abaft his desk, not the performative dispatch out he did for ball bits. This was instinct. Article in her articulation, and the way she captivated that helmet pulled him forward. "Your husband," Jimmy said carefully. Is he actuality tonight?" Sarah's face channeled for aloof or additional before she pulled it aback together. "He's at New York Presbyterian Hospital, about 12 blocks from here. He's been there for 6 weeks. The admirers was asleep silent. You could apprehend abandoned people breathing. He asked me to appear tonight." Sarah continued. "He fabricated me promise. He said if I could get tickets, I had to angle up and appearance you this helmet. He said you'd accept why." Jimmy was continuing at the bend of the date now, hand shading his eyes adjoin the lights, attractive up at row 12. I'm not abiding, I understand. Can you acquaint me? His name is Marcus Chin. He's been a firefighter for 19 years. FDNY ladder aggregation 347 and 6 weeks ago he was diagnosed with date 4 pancreatic cancer. The words landed like concrete blows beyond the studio. Several audience associates fabricated baby sounds, gasps, aside sobs. Sarah's articulation stayed steady. The doctor said he has maybe 4 to 6 weeks left, maybe less. He can't leave the hospital anymore. He's too weak. But every night aback he's awake, he watches your show. He's watched you for years. You accomplish him beam aback annihilation abroad can. Jimmy's duke came up to awning his mouth. His eyes were already wet. 3 nights ago, Sarah said. Marcus woke up from sleeping and the first affair he said to me was, I charge you to go to the Tonight Show. I charge you to acquisition a way to get tickets. I told him I'd try. I alleged every cardinal I could find. I explained the bearings and addition her articulation broke. Addition in your admirer's administration got me these tickets for tonight. What Jimmy didn't apperceive yet, what Cypher in the flat knew, was that Marcus Chin had been watching the Tonight appearance back 2014, the year Jimmy took over as host. The year Marcus about abdicate actuality a firefighter. Marcus had been disturbing with PTSD. Years of responding to fires, accidents, traumas. He'd apparent too much, agitated too much. He was accepting agitation attacks before shifts, couldn't sleep, was affairs away from his wife and daughter. He'd written an abandonment letter and put it on his captain's desk. That night, he went home and angry on the TV, clumsy to sleep. The Tonight appearance was on. Jimmy Fallon was interviewing an adept who'd started a affairs allowance added veterans through ball and music. The chat was ablaze but real. Honest. Jimmy asked questions that showed he absolutely cared about the answers. Article about that interview, the affection in it, the 18-carat animal affiliation fabricated Marcus aces up his buzz and alarm a therapist. The abandonment letter. Never got signed. He got help. He backward a firefighter. He backward alive. For the abutting 10 years, Marcus watched Jimmy's appearance religiously. Afterwards adamantine shifts, afterwards bad calls. When the PTSD flared up, Jimmy's voice, his laugh, his accessible adulation for people became affectionate of medicine. And now, in a hospital allowance 12 blocks away, Marcus was watching this moment disentangle on the TV army aloft his bed. Sarah continued, her articulation stronger now. Marcus said to acquaint you that you saved his activity once, alike admitting you didn't apperceive it. He said your appearance gave him a acumen to accumulate activity, a back he didn't have one. And now, alike admitting he's dying, watching you every night makes him feel like he's still living. Jimmy was crying above board now. No attack to adumbrate it. He looked at the producers in the wings, afresh aback at Sarah. Is your husband watching appropriate now? Sarah nodded. Yes, he's watching. Jimmy absolved to the camera. Camera 1, the capital camera, that advertisement to millions. He looked anon into the lens. Aback he spoke. His articulation was blubbery but clear. Marcus, brother, I don't apperceive what to say except acknowledge you. Acknowledge you for your service. Acknowledge you for every blaze you fought, every being you saved, every day you showed up, like aback it was hard. He paused, wiping his eyes with the aback of his hand. You say I adored your life once, but you adored lives every single day for 19 years. You're a hero. You're my hero. And if watching this asinine appearance helped alike a little bit, afresh this accomplished thing, all of it has been accounted. The admirers erupted. Not affable applause. Absolute thunderous abrasive applause. Bodies were standing crying. Sarah was ball above board now, clutching the helmet to her chest. But Jimmy wasn't done. He angry to his date administrator in the wings. How long until we accept to go to commercial? 6 minutes. The date administrator alleged back. Cancel it. Jimmy said. Cancel all the commercials. I don't care what we accept scheduled. We're not moving on. He looked back up at Sarah. Would you appear bottomward here, please? Sarah made her way bottomward from row 12, added audience associates affecting her amateur as she passed, arms abutment and love. When she accomplished the stage, Jimmy helped her up the steps. They stood calm under the lights, Sarah still captivation the helmet. Acquaint me about him, Jimmy said softly, aloof to her but into the microphone so anybody could hear. Acquaint me who Marcus is. And Sarah did. She talked about how they met in college. How Marcus always capital to be a firefighter, alike as a kid. How he proposed to her on the Brooklyn Bridge. How their daughter Emma, now 16, affiliated his adventuresomeness and his abhorrent faculty of humor. How Marcus still larbored addendum in Sarah's cafeteria bag every morning. Alike from his hospital bed. Little jokes and assets that fabricated her beam through tears. She talked for maybe 3 minutes. The flat stayed bashful except for her articulation and the casual sob from the audience. When she finished, Jimmy asked, Can I see the helmet? Sarah handed it to him. Jimmy angry it over in his hands, attractive at the scratches and scorch marks. The Cardinal 347 corrective in white, the FDNY logo. This wasn't a prop. This was real. Decades of account apparent into chicken artificial and metal. Sarah, Jimmy said, I appetite to do article if you'll let me. And if Marcus is watching, I appetite him to hear this too. He set the helmet carefully on his desk, the aforementioned board area he'd interviewed presidents and cine stars and musicians. The helmet sat there, impossibly apprehensive and impossibly powerful. Jimmy pulled off his suit jacket. Then, slowly, deliberately, he abandoned his tie and pulled it over his head. It was aphotic, dejected with baby silver stars. A tie he'd beat on important episodes before. This tie belonged to my father, Jimmy said, his articulation breaking again. He gave it to me aback I got this job. He told me to abrasion it on nights that mattered. Nights aback I bear to bethink why I do this. He bankrupt the tie anxiously and placed it central the helmet. I appetite Marcus to accept this. I appetite him to apperceive that tonight mattered, that he matters, that every single being whose activity he affected matters. And I appetite him to accept article from my ancestor to admonish him. Jimmy had to stop, compose himself, to admonish him that he's not alone, that we're all here, that we see him. Sarah burst into Jimmy's arms, sobbing. He captivated her, this drifter who stood up in his audience with a chicken helmet and burst accessible the absolute night. The admirers was standing again, applauding, crying, bearing attestant to article that transcended entertainment. Afterwards a moment, Sarah pulled aback and looked at Jimmy. Can I acquaint you the real acumen Marcus beatific me actuality tonight? Jimmy nodded, clumsy to speak. He wanted me to say acknowledge you, but he additionally wanted me to ask you something. She took all a quiver breath. Our babe Emma, she's terrified. She doesn't apperceive how to say goodbye to her dad. Marcus thought. He wondered if maybe you could almanac a video message, article she could watch afterwards he's gone. Article to admonish her that it's okay to beam a back you're sad. That her dad would appetite her to accumulate laughing. Jimmy didn't hesitate. I'll do better than a video. What's her name again? Emma. Emma Chin. Jimmy angry to the audience. Is there an Emma Chin in this admirers tonight? Movement in row 11. Appropriate abaft area Sarah had been sitting. A boyish babe stood up slowly, uncertainly. She had her mother's face, and what charge except been her father's aphotic hair. Emma, Jimmy alleged out. Would you appear bottomward here too? The babe fabricated her way down, shaking, tears alive down her face. Aback she accomplished the stage. Sarah pulled her close. Jimmy crouched bottomward, hardly to be at Emma's eye level. Your dad is one of the bravest people I've any time heard of. And you apperceive what takes added adventuresomeness than running into fires? Loving people. Aback you apperceive you ability lose them. Your mom has that courage. And I anticipate you do too. Emma nodded, clumsy to speak. I appetite you to apperceive something. Jimmy continued. Years from now, aback you anticipate about your dad. I appetite you to bethink that he spent his accomplished life authoritative abiding added bodies got to keep living. He gave that allowance to so many families. And the actuality that he's watching this show, that he beatific your mom actuality tonight, that he's thinking about you alike now, that tells me he's still angry to accord you every single moment he can. Jimmy stood and addressed camera one again. Marcus, if you're still watching, and I absolutely achievement you are, I appetite you to know that Emma is activity to be accept because she comes from you. She has your courage. And whenever she needs to bethink that, she can watch this. She can watch this moment and apperceive that her dad's adulation accomplished all the way through a TV awning to millions of people. That's immortal, brother. That's forever. If this adventure confused you, subscribe and allotment it because belief like this deserved to be heard. The appearance didn't abide as planned. Jimmy Ken led the actual segments. He sat on the date with Sarah and Emma, the chicken helmet amid them, and they aloof talked about Marcus, about life, about affliction and adulation and the weird, terrible, admirable allowance of time 12 blocks abroad in allowance 614 at New York Presbyterian Hospital. Marcus Chin watched on his TV screen. His nurse after appear that he smiled, really smiled, for the aboriginal time in weeks. He is secular at the TV aback he saw his helmet on Jimmy's board aback he saw his tie central it. He died 9 canicule later, amidst by family. That dejected tie with argent stars draped beyond the bottom of his hospital bed. At the funeral, firefighters from ladder aggregation 347 lined the streets. And in the advanced row, Emma Chin sat captivation her father's helmet with Jimmy Fallon's tie still bankrupt anxiously inside. She's never taken it out.